What I can tell you is, I didn't kill anybody. What I can tell you is, I didn't stalk anybody. And what I can tell you is, I didn't dispose of any corpse. It's really weird to be sentenced for or convicted for it and soon to be sentenced for it, but I didn't, Judge. It kind of feels like there's no turning around on that now. I don't really know how to make a better statement of my opposition, but I disagree. I'm innocent. I don't know what you're going to decide. I don't know what you're all going to weigh. I don't even know how to represent my own character without having my family be able to testify on my behalf.
Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're all well. You're beautiful, beautiful, amazing, wonderful people. It's just a quick video for a Sunday. What you've just listened to at the beginning there was Zachariah Anderson. Now, what did you think when you first heard this guy, when you heard his voice? What did you think? And be honest. And if you have to comment first, so pause the video, comment, let me know what you thought when you heard it. Was this the voice of a guilty man, or was this the voice of an innocent man? And then, yeah. What if I told you that Zachariah Anderson was actually found guilty not that long ago, only a few years ago? I think it was like 2020. He had basically stalked his ex-partner's new fella, stalked, yada, 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 and murdered him. And then he had done all the things that he claimed that he didn't do. He was found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. The evidence against him was fucking meteoric. And he got sentenced for about 90 years, I think altogether, all tallied up, because he obviously got the murder charge, murder conviction, and he then got another, I think it was 10 years for the disposal of a corpse. But I think there's a lesson to be learned, and that is, look, when we talk about Bryan Kohberger in the Idaho 4 case, they think that we are just supportive of Bryan Kohberger blindly. And it's this, I know their mentalities are that we don't understand that people can appear to be innocent and not be innocent. They can appear to be meek. They can appear to be the victims themselves. When that Zachariah video, there was a short video done. There's loads of videos. You can go and Google him or search on here. When you actually watch him say it, it's very different to just hearing the audio. But I just wanted to see if you could be influenced either way, just on the audio alone. Because when you actually watch the guy say it, it's scary as to how convincing he is of his innocence. And the comments were like, this guy was so powerful in his delivery that some people have gone on to say that they even had him convinced that the judge was the person who done it more than he did. That's an extreme case, but the point being that it would, in their mind, this was an innocent man, and he very much wasn't innocent. But when I talk about Bryan Kohberger being innocent and contemplation of his innocence, that is because we're at a stage where he has not been proven to be guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And I feel that it's a danger to society for us to be a society that can condemn without all the information, to condemn with so little information. And it's not only about the fact that there's little information, but it's about the incomplete information and where that information comes from. Do you trust the information that you're being told? Like, if they say that there's a white car driving around and it was driving round and around and around, because law enforcement told you that it's Bryan Kohberger's car, for instance, you will not question that. You don't question it. It's like when we're told that our utility bills are going up. Our utility bills are going up because of the rising costs involved in the production, extraction, distribution, sales, the middlemen who take their cut and all that, and the costs have to go up. We're almost told they're reluctant to have to do it, they just have to do it. But then in the next breath, we're seeing these companies such as BP posting record profits, the most money they've ever made, off the back end of us being told we have to pay more, but that's because they're having to pay more. And it's in all walks of life. You're told something and you make a conscious decision to trust what you're being told by those that tell you it. And you take it for gospel that the reason why food costs are going up, the reason why your energy bills are going up, the reason why school uniforms are going up, and every single thing that you put your money towards is going up, is because it has to. There is no choice. They've held off for as long as they can, and now it's got to the tipping point where we must now pass our costs over to you. But in the money sense of things, that isn't about that. That's just about greed. People wanting more and more money out of it, and becoming to the point where they understand that there's things that happen, such as the pandemic, that they were able to use as a catalyst to charge more. We lost business during this time, so we're going to punish you for it now and make you pay more to ballast our losses, to bring our money back up. That's all it is. But people accept, and people have lost their voice. They've lost their ability to understand how powerful they are. Can you remember, like back in the 80s and 90s, when fuel prices, especially in the UK, for those of you viewers who was in the UK, if fuel went up 5p, there'd be a fucking shutdown. There'd be, do you know what I mean? There would be uproar, absolute uproar. There'd be roadblocks and, picket fences, picket, and people would lose their shit. But nowadays, the fuel prices are going up and up and up and up and up and up and up, and nobody bats a fucking eyelid. Nobody bats an eyelid because it's become normality. And it's the same as in these cases where people are charged and they're found guilty and they lose their lives to later be exonerated, is because of people's trust in a system that is broken, but people don't want to admit that it's broken, because some cases get solved. Some cases, of course, they get solved because they're cases that are easily solved. But there are 50% of homicide cases in the US alone that don't get solved, never get solved. And then you factor in the percentage of people that are wrongfully convicted of them crimes, and you've got yourself a situation where you should be questioning things. You shouldn't take everything at face value. What do you think the story looked like in cases where people were wrongfully convicted and they did lose 10, 20, 30, 40 years of their life? The stories were very similar. They would present to you a story that looked plausible. They would produce evidence, they would produce witnesses, eyewitness testimonies, and they would lead to convictions, only later to find out that these people involved in them had manipulated evidence, had manipulated and lent on witnesses. They had hidden exculpatory evidence. It happens. But we don't go into this blindly. I don't go into this blindly. I don't go into this in a situation where I feel that Bryan Kohberger is innocent. I go into this not knowing either way. And I'm not in the mindset to trust what I'm being told at this early stage in a case. And I just wish that there was more people who were willing to understand that mistakes can be made, that the system doesn't always work the way it should, and sometimes people within that system are pressurized to a point where they will do things that are not right, that there are such things as bias towards potential culprits, such as I've spoken about this multiple times, like Ricky Neve. And his mum, law enforcement believed for many years that she was a person who did it. only to find out that it wasn't the case. Could you imagine being a mum of a child who's been brutally murdered and you're the one who they think did it? There you go. But like I say, I'd like you to let me know down below, just listening to that voice at the beginning of this video, did you consider that the voice of an innocent person or the voice of a guilty person? Because it is a stark reminder that Bryan Kohberger could indeed be guilty. But the thing what we have to understand is, if a system doesn't work properly, if it doesn't operate properly, then not only is there the danger of putting innocent people away, but there is a danger of guilty people walking, very, very dangerous people walking, because they don't do what they should do in the system itself. They cut corners. They do break the law. They do overstep the mark. Now, if Bryan Kohberger walks at this stage, unless there is some strength to what Ann Taylor is trying to say regarding his alibi, and can he be proven to be somewhere else, who knows? But if not, and he walks, it will be walking on a technicality because they did something they shouldn't do. Would that be right? Let me know down below. Have a fantastic, fantastic Sunday. You're looking absolutely amazing, by the way. And I'll see you all tomorrow.